Make America like the 1860s again. The breakdown
Yeehaw!
starts now. Good evening and welcome to the breakdown. I'm Tara Setmayer. This is the Rick Wilson, and as you can tell, I am not home. Where am I? I am in ground zero for this week's attack on women's rights, Arizona. So, excuse the background, but here we are. We're doing it live. Rick Wilson. Usually it's you that's somewhere off somewhere, but this week it's me. I'm out here in Phoenix
this week. I'm afraid it's no exotic travel for me this week.
Well, believe me, where I am is far from exotic. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I spoke at the McCain Institute today about the cross-section of disinformation and democracy. So that was cool. But it just so happens, there's a little bit of that. And it just so happens that, Arizona has decided to lose its damn mind and go back to the 1860s, attacking women's rights and this issue of abortion. We're going to talk all about that in a minute because it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and that whole thing this week between Trump's position, Biden's ads, what's happening in Arizona. We're going to talk about all of that. But I want to talk about something happy first before we get to that. Monday was Eclipse Day, and you are a space nerd as I am a space nerd, and you guys didn't get it so much in Florida, but in Northern Virginia, where I live, we got like 88, 89% totality, which was pretty cool. But
we were very low on the scale here, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you guys, it was like
not much to it in Florida.
But
it got
here along
dim outside, or I could have been drinking. Could have been either one.
Day drinking at 3:00. You never know.
Why would I not at this point?
Why not? But Michelle, our EP, her family, her childhood home was literally in the path of totality. And she was there with her husband and her family and got amazing pictures. And she was saying how the experience with the full totality was like unbelievable. She couldn't even put it into words. And I'm jealous, but she got to experience that. It was a rare moment of national unity across the country. Well, across this part of the country anyway.
Well, although I will disagree with that slightly, because there were a lot of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeting that it was a sign from an angry God come to punish them. I'm like, Marge, we don't live in the fucking Paleolithic era anymore. Excuse me, I cursed on TV.
She does. I mean, she does. She looks like she walked out of central casting for the Paleolithic whatever era. Freaking Cro-Magnon. She's the worst. We're going to talk about her too, because rumor has it that Trump world is falling out of love with Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've got the skinny
rumor.
We've got the skinny on that.
Increasingly,
it's happening. It's happening. We're going to get to that.
The leaks are getting to everybody. I'm hearing it from my Trump world people now. They're like, yeah, she's just out of control, and we're worried now, and we've got to at least bail Johnson out. I'm like,
save it. We're going to talk about that. Save it. Hold it for a second. The other thing that's going on before we get to abortion and Marjorie Taylor Greene and the chaos on the Hill and Trump on trial, the porn star payoff trial is happening. Before we get to all that,
couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
I know. I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching and all of the folks who have supported Lincoln Project year after year, because it's that time of year again, and LP is nominated for a Webby Award. The Webbies are like the Oscars of online content, and LP has won in the past for the great work that we've done on various issues. This year, we are up again for the America or Trump ad, and they have like a People's Choice Award in our category, and that's where you guys come in. We need you to do what you've done for us in the past, and please, please, please vote for Lincoln Project for the Webby Awards. I know that we're dropping in the chat, if you're watching on YouTube, the link directly where you can go to vote. But you can go to votewebbyawards.com, look for the Lincoln Project, and please vote for us. We also have it posted on the Twitter feed as well. If you're on Twitter, we've been posting it where you can just click on it and where you can go to vote. We are winning.
I want to thank all of my Substack folks where I had almost 4,000 of my Substack subscribers click through to the Webby link
That's
in
awesome.
the last 10 days. And I'm so grateful. And it's such a great community. I really appreciate everything you guys did for us.
That's fantastic. So you guys help us make the magic, and we're asking for you guys to help us again. Yes, to bring home the award. There's only a week left to vote, so you don't have to do it right this minute. But when you get a chance, please vote for us so we can win more awards. And they say thank you.
Do more work.
Yes, and do more work and keep it going.
You guys would be shocked how much it means to the big donor types who see that work and understand that they're helping along with you guys to invest in a pro-democracy effort that is like no other in the country. And I mean, you guys, I know I can be a smart ass and all that stuff, but I am deeply moved and grateful by the support that we're seeing this year. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. And it really is a sign of your trust in the work we do. And I'm a little verklempt. I'm deeply grateful about it, though. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So on to business, because this week has been, again, another one of those political weeks where you're like, okay, it's only Tuesday and we're already, it's Thursday. The week isn't even over yet. And we've gotten a Supreme Court, a state Supreme Court decision that is trying to take us back to the 1860s, like the Civil War era. What is happening? Anyone who thought that Dobbs and Roe didn't matter, that the Dobbs decision was just going to be like, oh, okay, well, whatever, let's take it back to the states. This is what happens. Donald Trump has,
the Republicans have learned their lesson from 22.
Oh, yeah, no, they clearly have not. This is what happens. This says Trump's Supreme Court and the Republicans losing their minds now that Roe is overturned are now taking it a step further. Every time you think that, oh no, they couldn't possibly, yes, they can. And in Arizona, they have. The Arizona Supreme Court this week decided to uphold a law that pretty much bans abortion except for the life of the mother. So not for rape or incest or anything else, just the life of the mother. That originated in 1864, before Arizona was even a state. It predates Arizona statehood. This is what we're doing, people. This is what they're doing. And
the degree to which this is crazy, like taking crazy pills, is beyond description.
Yes. And not only that, the Democrats tried to repeal this law. And the Republicans were like, no, we're not. And they tried to do it again after the Supreme Court here said, oh, yeah, we can go back and they can enforce this 1864 law. Nope. The chamber went into chaos. They adjourned as opposed to having a debate. And now no one knows what's going on in Arizona because the Republicans know that politically that this is kryptonite. This is a killer for them.
When even Carrie Lake gets it.
Right. That's right.
Carrie, folks, as you know, I'm gonna tell you a slightly off color, but not obscene joke about Carrie Lake that was passed along to me by a former statewide official in the great state of Arizona. She effed her way to the middle, was the description. She was never that smart. She's mediagenic, but she's not smart. But when even Carrie Lake and Donald Trump, again, not the smartest, not the sharpest tool in the box, when even their spidey sense goes, oh, hell, this is bad, you know it's bad. It is. It's not just bad. The polling that's already starting to come out after a couple of days, it's not bad. It's apocalyptic, Tara. It's
shifting. It's a political tectonic shift in swing states like Arizona, where before this, Arizona was a tough climb, right? Necessary but a tough climb. Same thing with like North Carolina is now starting to become more in play. I mean, it's kind of been a white whale a little bit in North Carolina, but this time around, with this kind of stuff going on, with the type of MAGA lunatics that they're nominating for top offices like in North Carolina. This issue mobilizes people in a way that we really haven't seen in quite some time. And if 2022 is any indication, because people remember way back when in the Wayback Machine, 2022 was supposed to be all about the red wave, that it was going to be a massive slaughter. Republicans were going to win everything. They were going to get the Senate back. They were going to get the House back. That's not what happened. Why? Because of Dobbs. And guess what? That is going to have a major impact again, because they're taking it too freaking far. Taking rights away from women is a bridge too far for a lot of people. What are we doing? When Trump talks about let's make America great again, are we talking about going back to a time where women didn't have rights, people of color didn't have rights, people of, states' rights was to go back to the states, right? Earlier this week, what did Trump say on abortion? There was this whole thing about this big announcement that Trump was going to finally state his position on abortion. Well, that was on Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
And he's like, oh, well, you should go back to the states. And then the next day, the states did this in Arizona, on top of all the other states that have done draconian things now when it comes to, a woman's right to choose. I don't know if you
saw that clip of Trump on the tarmac after the day later. And the guy looked like he was about to crap his own pants. He was so nervous. Again. It's all about the states. But wait, this is the same thing you said you didn't want. I mean, it says two things to me. One, again, even Trump knows how stinky this issue is. Even Trump knows how bad this is for him. And
at least his campaign does. I don't know if he does, but at least his campaign people do.
Good point. But, and two, the Republicans are going to keep doing crazy things because that's what they are now. They're going to keep doing the crazy stuff because that's what they are. They have no filter or break or system by which to say, hey, is this a good political idea or a terrible political idea?
Right.
And every time they see the terrible political idea now, they're like, I would like some more of that, please.
I know. It's all the smart political operatives in the Republican Party. They're all like, what are you doing? What are you people doing? This is how you know how bad it is. Fox News spent all of 12 minutes yesterday or whatever day it was. I don't know what day the ruling came out. I guess it was Tuesday it came out or Wednesday.
Yeah,
when was it? So. I don't know. I don't know what day it is. It's when you travel across country, you lose all sense of time. But whatever. The day that the Arizona court came out with the ruling, they spent 12 minutes talking about it. That's it. This is a huge, catastrophic political problem for Republicans.
Yeah, they spent more time talking about the fake Mayorkas impeachment than they did about a political ruling that is one of the most consequential and devastating and corrosive elements in the Republican Party today. And I was talking to a very smart analyst today who said, the thing about this is, and he sort of, this is a person who's not anti or pro Lincoln Project. And this person, he said good things about us and not so good things. But he said to me, listen, you guys have got to the point now where they're just handing it to you. Because all those people that you guys talk to, they're just giving you the keys to the car now. I was like, that it is pretty much the case.
Yeah, yes.
And the longer it goes on, the longer it persists in the states of them adding more restrictions, of them making more of these crazy statements, of them doing more and more of these things that they know do not play. And the longer Trump tries to reconcile it, it has started to pull him down on the right as well. I mean, National Review has a headline today that says, Donald Trump's divorce from the pro-life movement is complete.
Oh, boy.
Catholic Reporter is like, we're used to being stabbed in the back by rhino Republicans. Trump stabbed us in the front. I mean, it's weird because not a lot of things I admire about Donald Trump, but he does have a sense of cunning about where his base is. And he really really missed the beat on this one.
But you know why? because his campaign operatives now, they are more from the establishment. They understand.
For any of you MAGAs watching, Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles are a lot more like us than you want to admit.
Correct. They are not the ideologues. They don't come from the fringe. So their political instincts are, okay, we need to look at the general election now, and you need to have a position that's going to moderate, right? That's right. Moderate. I say that very loosely.
Moderate.
So they try to split it down the middle, right? And say, well, we'll placate the crazies with the states' rights thing, but then we'll also try to dodge the bullet of a national abortion ban, which is where Trump was going before, to placate the base, and knowing that was a political problem for him in a general election. And instead, he stepped in it royally and pissed everybody off. And then Arizona just made it all that much worse and totally just blew up the states' rights thing for the general election. So it's been not a great political week for Donald Trump. And I'll tell you what else. You've got the Steve Bannons of the world and the Turning Point USA idiots and Charlie Kirk and those guys that are out here bragging about how how women shouldn't get birth control. They shouldn't be on that because it makes them stupid and they're unattractive. Crazy. Right. And they're unattractive after they're in their 30s if they don't have children, and all these things that are on record, on video, they're unapologetically saying, insulting women.
Don't worry, folks. You'll be seeing a lot this fall.
Well, yeah. And we can show you something now, because I don't think most people... Yeah, most people don't watch The War Room with freaking Steve Bannon. This is what he said not that long ago, a couple days ago. Take a look.
Prepare your eye bleach, folks.
So they can come in and they do. All the consultants, they try to modify Trump's message. Oh, no, you got to modify it here on the social conservative. You got to do this, you got to do that, because you got to get the suburban women. Well, says who? Says who? The ones that are gettable are out there that can listen to the message of MAGA and the message of President Trump.
You don't have to get the women. Who cares about moderate women?
You know what? All you need, don't worry, Team Trump, just listen, trust me, guys. I mean well for you. All you need is non-college educated white bros.
Yeah,
who participate in Trump boat parades. That's all you need. Right. Trust me. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll be just fine. If you heard the rest of that clip, he goes on and on about insulting every level of woman except
we don't need these Karens from the suburbs,
right? Minority women, blah blah blah. Right. Oh, who cares? You don't need any of them. Okay. Sure keep it up. Sure. Keep it up.
Sure.
Trump on the other hand, thinks that he's great for women. Women love him. This is what he said a couple days ago.
Into the rural communities, suburban communities. And, the suburban housewives actually like Donald Trump. You know why? Because I'm the one that's going to keep them safe. They like to say, well, the suburban housewives, I don't know. I think I do great with the suburban housewives because...
First of all, suburban housewives, what are we, 1950s? Leave It to Beaver? Okay.
Hi, honey, I'm home. Where are my slippers and pipe?
Yeah, exactly. I made a bundt cake for dinner for dessert. Like, what world is it? This shows you right there. This is how these people think. This is what they think of women in 2024. This is not a throwback to a time where, women didn't have equal rights. Like, this is what they want. Now, I think it's very important to understand, and give some credit to the Biden camp. Because we've been a little critical of them not being aggressive enough soon enough. And I have to say that their rapid response team has been kicking ass lately.
Points are getting put on the board.
They are. And their campaign is really coming together because they have the money, they have the grit, and they've obviously got the talent now. So I want to show an ad that the Biden camp released earlier this week that I said on MSNBC on Monday night is probably the most powerful ad the Biden camp has ever put out, either 2020 or now, particularly on this issue of how these draconian laws are impacting women and families in this country. Take a look at this. It's called Willow's Box.
So this is one of our Willow boxes. This is just filled with some of the things that we had started gathering for her while I was pregnant. Yep. Here's her little baby book. This was the outfit that she was gonna maybe wear home from the hospital. All of these. This is the blanket that she was in. And these are her little footprints.
It's okay.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Rick, stories like that, real life stories, and the real world effect of stories like that is a incredibly powerful tool.
I
This was in
literally
Texas.
cannot watch that ad because I will freaking boo-hoo about it.
It's
that powerful.
It is. There's no way that you cannot be moved by this Texas couple and what they suffered. And not only did they suffer the loss of their child, but they almost lost the mother, the wife, because she could not get proper care in Texas because of their draconian laws concerning abortion. I don't know that the American people fully understand the consequences of what's happened here. And
you know what?
These things like this, storytelling like this coming from the Biden camp, juxtaposed with the cruelty and the antiquated, diminishing insults about women coming from Trump world, that compare and contrast is, I think, going to be a huge difference maker.
I want to say this also about the idea of Republicans right now, and Bannon, you saw that framing there with Bannon. You've seen it with Ben Shapiro and all these other idiots. And it's that only women care about the abortion. We've identified in our polling and research, this group we're calling the Dobbs Dads, folks. And they are from the late baby boom all the way to the middle of the millennials, where they either have grown-up daughters or teenage daughters or young daughters. And they're looking at a world where their daughter might be forced to die because some swag-bellied, fat-ass Republican evangelical shitbird who believes that he's going to decide who gets to live and die makes a decision. And those Dobbs dads are, in our research, they are as outraged about this as women in the same demos are. And I will tell you this, I'm about to be a grandfather this summer. The baby is healthy as could be. Just everything's going on rails right now. And God bless. May everyone's pregnancy be just like my son and his wife's the child they're going to bring into this world. 7th generation Florida woman, by the way. But we have another friend who's pregnant, and she's in a very, very, very high-risk pregnancy. She's miscarried multiple times. And right now, we're praying for her because if something goes wrong in the state of Florida right now, believe me, we're going to put her in the airplane and fly her somewhere where she can get help. It's the last thing she wants. She wants to have a beautiful child. She wants to have a baby after all this time. And these bastards are just, the heartlessness of it is coming across to Americans right now at a level that I've never imagined possible.
Yes.
It's not about life anymore. It's not about preserving a child anymore. It is now legitimately about the performative cruelty of forcing women to die so they can make their political case. It is the most repulsive and disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And folks, I'm not some radical pro-choice. Oh, this is great. I think there's a lot of moral complications to abortion. But what's happening right now on the Republican side is the most grotesque, horrifying thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
You know, and I think that your passion on this from a man's perspective coupled with the way that we as women in this country feel under attack by these people taking our agency away, is a mixture for activating people who may not have gone to the polls before, or who may have thought about voting Republican and just cannot stomach empowering people who feel as though this is okay. And that's where we're targeting. We have to, because in these swing states, and Arizona is one of them, a difference of a couple thousand votes is what is going to swing this election. And people need to decide what kind of country they want to live in. Do they want to live in a country where moneyed friends that have people that can fly airplanes can take them out of state, like The Handmaid's Tale, and have to like run across a
if you don't
the
think, by the
line
way,
somewhere else?
If you don't think, by the way, that there will be pilots and drivers and people who help these women, you're mistaken.
Of course they were. Of course they will.
Railroad in this country. And it's not because these people are all radically pro-abortion. It's because women are going to die from being forced to have ectopic pregnancies, forced to carry a fetus that is dead inside of them. What the hell is wrong with these people? I know.
It's crazy.
I know they think this is a great political winning issue, but I'm telling you, I have come to believe that this election is going to wipe the Republicans from the board in New York, in California, in North Carolina, in Virginia. I think it is going to wreck their campaigns. And by the way, every Biden 18 Republican is going to get blown the hell out because of this issue.
Those are the people who
one
are
of those districts is going to blow
those are
them
Republicans.
out.
Republicans are in districts who Biden won narrowly. And just so people understand, because not everybody watches us every day. So for the new people, or as
for those of you who are just coming to class for the first time,
right. Or as like the Smart List guys say, if anybody watches the Smart List podcast, I love them. They always say, that's for Sean's sister who lives in Chicago or wherever she lives, or Wisconsin, to explain it. But it's important that people understand that. And the thing about it, like I was saying, like not everyone's going to have a Rick Wilson as a friend that can fly them out of there. There are thousands and thousands of women who don't have those options, who will possibly die. Or a statistic that I saw this week as I was researching this issue, 64,000 women and girls have been impregnated from rape that live in states where they cannot get an abortion. They were either forced to carry the baby of their rapist or have to escape the state to get care. 64,000. That's just in the last year. There's something incredibly wrong with this. So as this campaign unfolds, I think it's important that people continue to be informed that this is having real life consequences every single day, no matter where you fall on the spectrum of the pro-life, pro-choice debate. There is a certain amount of decency and a human right issue here that government should not be taking this freedom away from women. They should not. And I've evolved on this issue, to be honest. I really have, after watching it happen. And I think a lot of people didn't think we'd ever be faced with this because nobody thought that Roe would ever actually be overturned. It was an academic exercise for the most part. But now that it's become reality, it is really going off the rails, and it can be stopped. But it has to start with the ballot box. It starts with us at the ballot. Now, we've got ballot initiatives in Florida, ballot initiatives that they're working on here in Arizona, where I am now. And everywhere we saw in 2022 and last year, where this issue was on the ballot, even in red states like Kansas and Ohio, people have come together and said, this right needs to be codified. So with that said, go ahead.
I have two things I always say. Pain is the only teacher in politics.
True. And in life,
when
usually.
When it comes to abortion, the side that overshoots on the issue is the side that loses.
That's
now, a
right.
few years ago, Democrats overshot on partial birth, very late term abortions, and they paid a political price for it.
They did, which is very rare, by the way,
I've ever seen in politics. This is vastly beyond anything we've ever seen in America, and I still deeply believe that the consequences, when they come, That is not going to arrive in a soft tap on the shoulder for Republicans to say, maybe you should reconsider this. It's going to be pack your stuff, you're out.
Yes, because no time in history. I mean, obviously we've had slavery and we had Jim Crow and we had women not being able to vote for until 1920, and then Black women not until the 1960s. But in recent history, we haven't had anything this consequential, and we've never had in American history a right taken away. Okay, like this is the first time. Never. So people need to understand that. And as we progress in this campaign, as I was saying, I want people to take a look at something that we did in 2020 because of the impact this will have on women and girls, and just the attack in general. It's not just about abortion. It's just the overall diminishing of women and women's rights. This is something we did in 2020, and it's called Girl in the Mirror. And I think it applies now too. And plus, the vice president is coming to Arizona tomorrow. They're dispatching her on this issue as well. So there's a Kamala Harris appearance in this as well. But the context of Girl in the Mirror is really, really powerful.
Right.
And we want to show it to you guys again.
Imagine a young girl looking in the mirror, searching for role models in the world to give her hope that one day she too can make a difference. Now imagine how she feels when she watches women being verbally attacked.
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Maligned.
And this monster that was on stage with Mike Pence, who destroyed her last night, by the way.
Belittled.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
Harassed.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
Insulted.
And I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say,
Your daughters are listening and absorbing that message right in front of your eyes. Now imagine a different future for her. A future with a president who doesn't just value a female voice, but chooses one to be his right-hand woman. A strong woman. A woman with compassion. A woman unafraid to take on a bully.
And I want to add, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
A woman who not only believes in the American dream, she embodies it. Imagine that little girl in the mirror, because that little girl is yours. And your actions on November 3rd will define who she sees. Vote for change. Vote for her. The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Still applies.
If you needed a reminder of who we're running against, on Monday, some bitch is in court for paying off a porn star for one of his many adulterous affairs.
That is correct. And when Trump has the audacity to ask the political question of, are you better off 4 years ago? Women sure aren't. Take a look at this, back to back.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so.
People keep asking if we were better off than we were 4 years ago. Of course we are. A booming economy, more jobs, higher pay for the middle class, respected in the world again. Stability, sanity, kindness, respect. And most of all, decency in the Oval Office again. America is working and working together. The problems we still face at home and abroad aren't from this White House. They come from a desperate, unstable man and the followers who give him power. The same man who endangered America's health.
I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. It is what it is.
Wrecked our economy and tried to overthrow our democracy. Were we better off 4 years ago? That's the wrong question. The question is, what do we want the next 4 years to be?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. I mean,
it
really
is.
I mean, the illusion that in some way, and I'd say this, even if you pull the COVID year from hell out of the equation, the illusion that Donald Trump somehow led this country of peace and prosperity is just that. It's an illusion.
It is.
It's a complete fabrication. It's a mental
It really is.
exercise that is disconnected from all economic, political, and social reality.
Yep. And which leads us into what's happening on Capitol Hill. Because you want to talk about these people are in fantasy land somewhere. This week, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene out here again, making trouble. She's up Mike Johnson's ass now, saying, "Oh, if you want to put Ukraine funding on the floor, I'm gonna I'm gonna move forward with removing you," because the idiots allowed for only one person to vacate the speaker. Now that was part of the Faustian bargain last year for Kevin McCarthy, which we all predicted by allowing that one person can move a motion to vacate would wreak havoc on the Congress. Well, it has, because you empower the crazy nut jobs like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert and Gates and all of them, because all it takes is one. So now Speaker Mike Johnson is facing the same hurdle that Kevin McCarthy did. If he actually tries to legislate and get the Ukraine funding passed through, which is desperately needed, we've got the FISA reauthorization thing happening now. That's basically our spy technology, and we need to be able to listen in on our foreign enemies.
Really, really want to kill FISA right before election season. I can't figure out why that would be. It's just a mystery.
Right. Why? Huh? Another thing that's just handing these victories to Putin. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is basically the catalyst for all of this chaos again. And you've got Mike Johnson going down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring, because obviously his fate lies in where Donald Trump
100%.
falls on him, right? So here's what's interesting about this. And then, Rick, you can talk more about that. You alluded to it at the beginning of the show. So, of course, the Democrats are sitting back just laughing at these fools, but they also know that we need to legislate. And the question has been, will Democrats save Mike Johnson's ass if it comes down to it? If he finally just says, screw you people, we've got to get this funding to Ukraine, and we've got to get the security reauthorization, national security bill reauthorized. I'm putting it on the floor. If you want to kick me out, fine, fucking do it. Will the Democrats save him? Some people have said, why? Let them fight. But wait a minute. Hakeem Jeffries has come out as of today and said that he thinks that the Democrats will save Johnson if he puts these things on the floor, which I think is an interesting development in this and may save Mike Johnson's behind. We'll see. He's going down to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow, which leads me to what you wanted to say about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, even if Mike Johnson is saved in November, he's Minority Leader Mike Johnson.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not rooting for the Republicans to stay.
I know, but what I'm saying is I think we're at a point now where there are a critical mass of Democrats who understand we've got to keep the economy open. That's
right. That's the only reason.
That we're at the last days of being able to save Ukraine, folks. It is.
That's right.
This close right now. They are out of a lot of the anti-aircraft stuff. That's why you're seeing a rising death toll. That's Mike Johnson's murder parade of missiles every night going into Kyiv, going into Kharkiv, going into cities across Ukraine, because Mike Johnson has deliberately done this. Now,
and for 6 months, they haven't allowed a vote. There is bipartisan support for this, but he has kept this from coming to the floor because of the pro-Russia, pro-Putin Republicans.
Yeah, it'll pass the Senate in a matter of hours, no matter what Moscow Vance says about it. J.D. Vance is posturing that I'm not going to pass a bill to help Ukraine.
Ron Johnson, the other one.
Ron Johnson, Tommy Tuberville. But folks,
Tommy Dummerville.
The House is dysfunctional by design right now. It is dysfunctional because they want it to be dysfunctional. Why are they all going away to Europe for an 8-day junket on the 80th anniversary of Normandy? It's not because they want to go and honor our troops. They're the same guys called us suckers and losers. It's because they don't want to have votes. They want to avoid the responsibility of governance. And Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, engineered Kevin McCarthy's departure, and engineered this system of one vote can kill the speaker. Mm-hmm. And at some point soon, if I were a Bannon a Biden Republican in one of those 18 districts, I'd go to Hakeem and say, hey, make me chair of the fisheries committee. Make me chair of something, and I'm coming over. We're going to make a deal. Yeah. We could have a Speaker Jeffries this year instead of next year if Marjorie Taylor Greene keeps up. Now, I will say this. In theory, I will say this. I posted about this morning. It was in Playbook this morning. Yep. But I've been hearing for about 4 or 5 days that there is an increasing campaign inside the Trump universe with Chris LaCivita leading it, Jason Miller and Susie Wiles playing backup and going to reporters and saying, Marge is off the rails. Marge is crazy. We're not with this thing. This is nuts. We're not doing this. We're gonna fix this. Trump's gonna save Mike Johnson. The problem is, even Donald Trump may not be able to put the genie back in the bottle. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And guys like Chip Roy and guys like Paul Gosar and people like Green and Gates and Boebert and Boebert's out of commission right now. But all the crazies, they want the chaos. They want the gridlock. They want the frozen conflict. So we'll see. Well, we'll see. I don't think most people. There was a time where there was talk of Marjorie Taylor Greene as a potential Trump VP. We always knew that was never happening, but he used to love her. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to be the VP of Dress Barn at this point. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to be the VP of a Waffle House. That woman is the worst political cancer inside the party. Terrible. And I mean that even beyond Matt Gaetz. She is a far more dangerous electoral poison than anyone else on the Republican side. Yeah, she's a problem. We always knew she would be, and Kevin McCarthy and the guys who know better knew that too. But then they made the decision to empower her instead of isolating her. They empowered her, and now they are reaping what they sow. You know what? F them. That's what they get. You bought the ticket, take the ride. That's right. Well, speaking of effing, Trump is on trial next week for the porn star payoff. Yep. And the Stormy Daniels trial is finally happening. As much as he's tried to avoid this, he lost 3 times this week in court trying to get this delayed. He continues to lose his shit over the judge and attacking his daughter and pushing the boundaries of the gag order. He's trying to sue the judge now. They've tried everything, and none of it has worked at all. And guess what? Trump is still, even with all of that, he was still going after the judge. Let's show the video that you put out, Rick. You voiced over this. It's called... I did. I read a Rick Wilson voiceover. That's right. What does he mean? Let's take a listen.
This weekend, Trump went crazy on social media. Sounds about normal, right? But this time, he was targeting the judges overseeing his criminal and civil trials, asking, how many judges do I have to endure before somebody steps in? Somebody steps in? To do what, Donald? To attack the judges? To kill them or their families? He told a violent mob that attacked the Capitol, be there, we'll be wild.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
He told the Proud Boys to stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
He told us these were good people in Charlottesville.
Very fine people on both sides.
Now, he's putting the lives of these judges and their families in danger. He knows that his followers are just waiting for the signal. So when the attack comes, you'll know who ordered it. We've said that Donald Trump is corrupt. We've told you he's an authoritarian. We've said that he's dangerous. But we've never said he doesn't know exactly what he's doing.
It's true, though.
It's true. Can I just say, no one else would ever get away with the threats that Donald Trump has made against judges and their families. Are you freaking kidding me? The way that this guy has been given every exception and every benefit of the doubt or whatever, because everybody's too afraid to just finally make him pay a price. It's just infuriating. Well, now he's going to have to endure the humiliation and his family's humiliation of what he did with trying to pay off Stormy Daniels to be quiet about their affair when Melania was pregnant with their child, right? With Bannon. Most people forgot about this and thought like, oh, it's just paying off a porn star. No, it's actually
He's a good
illegal.
family man who loves his wife and children.
But it's illegal. What he did was illegal. And this is a criminal trial. No president, former president, presidential candidate has ever been on trial for a criminal offense while running for president. This is a first. And even though people thought that the Alvin Bragg case, I know this is the porn star case now. This is one of 4 that he's facing. But even though some people thought that the Alvin Bragg case was like, oh, well, you know what? It matters. It matters because it reminds us of what a scumbag Trump is, what a misogynist he is, what a corrupt MFer he is. And it's bringing back the cast of characters that we all had to endure during the 2016 campaign and his administration. You've got Hope Hicks. Have you seen the witness list?
You got Hope Hicks. You got Michael Cohen, Hope Hicks. You're going to have
Michael has his redeemed
live from Rikers Island. It's going to be And look, the thing about this is Michael and Alan have now come to Jesus. They both
has Weisselberg? Weisselberg has too now, and I missed that part. I know Michael has.
Let me tell you something. Weisselberg, he's a 70-plus-year-old man. He ain't going to be in Rikers for very long and live.
He's back in Rikers again. This is his second stint in Rikers, right?
He gets the idea that Rikers is a death sentence for a 73 or a 5-year-old man.
One would think. One would hope. Why these people continue to throw their lives away or throw themselves in front of trains for Trump, I'll never understand, because he sure as hell wouldn't do it for them. And this is
Donald
just like
Trump
why
would not save his own child if he or she were on fire. If it meant he would lose $1 or not get laid.
Maybe he would for Ivanka.
Profoundly broken.
Yeah, he is. And yet, millions of people are ready to put this guy back in the White House. We say no. That's why we're here. That's why we do this every day, is to make sure there are more of us than them that go to the ballot box and make sure that they never step foot near the White House again. And on that note,
I'm not saying that Barron Trump is Justin Trudeau's son. I'm not saying that on.
Oh my gosh! Stop it! Stop it! That is a joke. That's a joke. On that note,
it's a joke.
We say thank you. We say thank you. Make sure you go and vote for us over at the Webbies, and we will see. Oh my goodness! Wait, I forgot. We have to do some questions. I forgot.
We have to do some questions tonight.
Yes.
Put on the reading glasses because I'm old.
Yes. My apologies, because there's just been so much to talk about. We've been promising folks we would do some questions, so we will do it. What's our first question, Michelle? Go ahead, Rick. You have to read it because I can't.
I've never seen your ads on TV. I only see them when I participate with you in the breakdown from emails. Where are they shown? I want you to go and find the New York Times article called "This Ad is Not for You or Your Neighbors" from 2022. Our ads are only shown to the voters inside a list of about 400,000 voters in 5-6 key areas and states in the country that will actually move them. The old way of television was you bought what they call broadcast. ABC, NBC, CBS, and broadcast TV was like a nuclear bomb, and everybody saw because there were only 3 networks. Then it evolved to cable, and there were 50 networks. So if I was running an ad for men, I literally would put it on somewhere, cliche, it sounds like, but it's true, ESPN, Golf Channel.
Mm-hmm.
If I was targeting women, Bravo, A&E, HGTV. Now, we live in a digital world where I can target someone's phone, their individual TV set, their iPad, and I can target them with such granularity that most people won't see the ads. And a lot of the ads we make, we don't even put them here. A lot of the ads we make are what we call below the waterline. Think of LP as an iceberg. The big viral video ads on the top of the iceberg, the ones going after Trump, the ones that are really like amazing in the news, sort of talk. Those ads are to set the narrative nationally. The ads underneath the water are to move voters in the target state. So that's why you don't see our ads running on your TV. And especially if you live in a very blue state or a very red state, you're not going to see our stuff. But if you live
most of the time, there are ads. right? There are ads that we have run on cable news where you'll see it on Morning Joe or CNN. Some of those bigger ad buys.
Those
for the most part, they're targeted. Right. That's right. They're very targeted.
Between us, they're sometimes put up there to show the Democrats how to fight. Like, oh, here's an attack you could do. Follow this. Here's a message you could use. Follow that. So.
But great question, because I know a lot of people ask that. So next one, Michelle. I can read this one. Do Dems have any organizations established that can counter things like the Federalist Society? If not, how do we get some? Thanks for all you do. Rick, I don't really know we didn't come from Dem world. I don't know. Do they have a Federalist Society?
No, they don't have anything.
Most of the stuff they don't have in the same ecosystem.
Look, here's the thing. If you want to do the Federalist Society, you're going to have to build it from the ground up, because it is a 50-year project that was methodically funded, organized. They trained people. They maintained it. It's a serious group of people that are doing serious work. You may not like the outcome of it, but they were methodical. They built a plan. They had objectives every election cycle. They decided that the way to influence national political dialogue was to influence the judicial branch at every level, and they set out to do it. You may not love it, but it's a plan, and a plan beats no plan every time.
Yes, and that's also the same answer that we give to when we talk about the media ecosystem. Sure. This is something that the right has built over decades. It has been a long-term project that they've done this, and it's been, frustrating now that Democrats don't have an answer to that ecosystem. It's partially why we're in this problem we're in, with so much disinformation being disseminated to so many people. All right, I think we have one more. We have a comment and then a question.
Girl in there is brilliant. Please run it again. You mean tonight or in general?
I know. I think you can see all of those ads on our YouTube channel, but I think we should tell social to repost it. But
yeah, I think we shall. We'll get it back up there.
We'll talk. We'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
All right, one last question.
Way, Tammy Stansel. Yes, ALEC is another long-term plan. Although I will tell you, ALEC is less about conservative outcomes and more about corporate lobbying, interest, and corporate protection of things
certain
like
interests,
banking and certain
privatization of prisons.
Yeah, it's a little.
ALEC is a bad organization, though. It's so corrupt. There's so much corruption in that. That's a whole. We could do a whole show on that. Woo.
So dirty.
All right, the last question. Ads about Project 2025
or Agenda 47. Yes.
They're coming.
Yes.
They're coming.
We'll see those.
All right. Now I mean it. That's it for this week's edition of the Lincoln Projects, The Breakdown. We will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you for sticking with us. And
like, share, blah, 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 subscribe, all those things.
And vote for us on the Webbies. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, everybody.